J'ai surpris votre conversation.
Eh bien sûr.
Je m'appelle Julien-k.
To me, the writing's never been more on the wall than it is now. Something powerful needs to happen, another force.
We wanted to create a band, a lifestyle, the whole imagery, the sound.
We're taking it to a different level. Trying to make a statement and make a point and go the extra boundary that hasn't been pushed yet at this point.
I want to create a lifestyle, a movement. I want to change the world.
Julien-k definitely the sort of band that are more than just the music. It's just a whole package. It's not just a faceless sort of group.
Death to analog to me means moving towards the future. They're moving forward.
It's fun to work with a band like Julien-k because it's all a part of their lifestyle and their everyday wear. They have a whole philosophy behind the music.
Push the envelope, utilize instruments in ways that they have not been utilized, marry pieces of equipment that shouldn't be used together, and pull it all off live. Make it rock. That's Julien-k.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing, fake about it. Death, sex, violence, music.
This is really what happens, and it fucks you up.
Is there something on your mind? Couldn't just let it show. Seems that life is one white line.
I grew up basically being in a multi-platinum rock band. I literally thought it was my job to bite this off, just suck the blood out of this opportunity. I thought that was my duty. Fucking live the life. That's what you do.
I think in Orgy we sort of felt like we were, Ryan and I especially, were sort of always moving more into this electronic thing and kind of finding our love of, dance music and new wave and, the 80s, which of course was a big part of Orgy too. But Orgy sort of started going more into a rock realm. And that was something that we sort of learned from playing in a lot of arenas, a lot of heavy bands. It just started to go too far for us.
Amir and I both started doing some other things. We didn't know whether, what were we going to do? Record another Orgy record? I kind of was like, fuck, we've done 3 now. It's what are we really going to do? Like, what do we wish we were hearing? What do you miss? I love electronic music. I wanted to take it further. I wanted it to have more emotion. I wanted to be able to do real electronic music live.
Your life is about control, I know, and explain all the things that you do. If you mean what you say, I can play the singing, I can't wait someday.
Even though I sang in Orgy a lot, I really, I obviously didn't have lead vocal duty. Sitting at home working and not really wanting to go out and audition singers or anything like that, I just sort of started singing on it, and that's when Amir had said, you know, this sounds you sound real.
At that point, I think it became obvious that it was something quite different. It really started to become something else, and we sort of realized that, wow, we were really progressing in a new direction.
And I thought, okay.
Shadow in the child's eyes, before he ever hears a lie. He's looking for something real.
I found myself basically writing sort of a cohesive story about all these things that that now I can't hide from anymore.
Shadows inside, controlling my life.
At some point in your life, they always creep up on you and fucking stick a knife in your fucking gut.
Facing the signs, I'm losing my mind.
A lot of it is stuff from my childhood, growing up in a kind of an abusive childhood, and a lot of that stuff I ignored for years. I'm trying to use art to deal with issues that would otherwise destroy me.
I think he was surprised when I told him, I think this is awesome. You really think so? Like, of course, yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I've told a lot of my friends that they suck before, because that's what friends do, especially when it comes to music.
He got it, like, right away, and he really wanted to be a part of it. I mean, we even talked about different ways that, maybe he would even be in the band, and that ended up turning into us doing a record with him.
Not only are we great friends, but I really appreciate their talent. I could really hear the music becoming something that I felt was really important.
Trying to figure out how to do the Julien-k thing live was a trick.
We weren't quite sure if we were going to have a drummer because a lot of stuff we were writing couldn't be played. So we thought.
We know, especially in the States, that, electronic bands can be, people don't really kind of give a shit, so you kind of have to bring the pain a little.
Record.
Keywords are kind of boring, but we're trying to make it something more than that.
I was brought in more as behind-the-scenes engineer type person. It kind of just grew from there.
It very quickly turned into why aren't you in the band? It's great, honestly, to have someone that young. He thinks of things that we don't think of.
I think they found probably one of the best drummers in the world. Elias that guy destroys the drums.
Ryan turns around and he's jamming and he's looking at me and I'm going at it, man. And it was just that bond of playing live and it hit me.
A lot of those electro bands, there's a reason that they aren't big touring forces right now. It's really not a band. It's a dude at a computer. It's an engineer.
You see it live, it's kind of like, they're a rock band.
We tend to keep people close. So, we keep them at close range in case we either need to take them out or pull them in.
When I first worked with them, I was mixing. And they'd been working with Foo.
Foo was one of the first people we brought in once we started, really making the record. He's very creative. Obviously, he's one of the best programmers and guys that I've ever worked with. And he's also an equal member as far as in the band, but he doesn't really perform with us. It's just not really his thing.
In the studio, the process is plow forward into new territories.
The rough mixes they presented me to sort of reference, to try and beat, were of a very high standard, which from a mixer's point of view is quite depressing. When you put it on and you think, it sounds pretty good, to be honest. So you really have your work cut out for you.
I've had, you know, tons of records that he's done. I'm a big fan of his work for years.
You know that these are all like pivotal records that he's worked on, and pivotal, you know, sort of like these were the bones of that movement. We want to have these elements of these bands, like the things that you can't put a finger on.
It was so almost retro that it was contemporary. Ryan writes very hooky melodies, and the textures and the sounds that they choose to support that work really well.
There's parts of this album that are super dark, and there's sort of a redemption, like deliverance, the concept of being taken out of the pain that you're in. I mean, it's a concept that I hold dear.
It's pretty prolific.
You can hear different layers, and you can hear the subtleness.
There's a lot more hope in it, and it's not so negative.
You will find living without me is not so easy.
It's got a lot of emotion to it.
Being able to write melody and lyrics, he's fast. You know, you have to be quick. If he says, I've got an idea, put the mic up, and he goes.
Whenever I dream of you, secret forever is not so long.
Over those years, all the trials and tribulations, the drugs,
Addiction, drug and alcohol problems and abuse and things that Ryan has experienced.
I think I was doing that to suppress a lot of the stuff that was starting to boil up.
And I know they'll try to tempt you, shallow vices.
But it also has to do with my relationship and finding someone in my life that sort of has helped elevate me out of the things that I was just wallowing in.
What we've been through to sort of push through all of that and hopefully create this sort of oasis.
It has more to do with the lifestyle than anything else. They have a whole following, lifestyle, and philosophy behind the music.
But going into this, we really wanted to make it a brand. Everything about us will become like a brand.
You know, really this is a movement. I don't want this to be just a band. I don't want this to just be a song on the radio.
There's so many different things that are involved. There's the musical element, there's the fashion element, there's trying to find new ways.
We're moving into this new realm that we've been moving into for many years. You know, fuck being similar, basically.
I want this to be a lifestyle. I want it to be a look. I want it to be, you know, something that you can sink your teeth into. That's the idea behind Julien-k.